Well, hello, IDS 105 students, and welcome to week 7 here in the IDS 105 learning community. I am Melanie Shop, your learning community gal, and I'm here to talk to you about finishing strong this term for your IDS 105 course. First and foremost, your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is important to us. It is our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center, the OAC, as soon as possible at 866-305-9430. You can also email them at oac@snhu.edu or visit the Online Accessibility Center website. Couple of webinar reminders. These webinars are always in an academic space, so be mindful of your conduct. These webinars are not graded or required, but you will learn about how to do assignments from week to week and go over concepts that we are working on in your IDS 105 classroom. Y'all, you have made it to 2 weeks left of your term. So this week we're going to center in on week 7, module 7 assignments. This week you have that final project submission of the drafts that you have been working on all term long. And there is also a non-graded discussion opportunity. It is there if you would like to share your thoughts about how you put together your final project, or time management strategies that have worked for you, or motivation to keep you on track, but you don't have to do anything at all if you don't want to. The discussion is not graded. What is graded is that final project. So a couple of assignment reminders for this assignment. For your final project, you are not starting anything new. You are literally cleaning up and editing or adding to and submitting that template that you have worked on all term long. So you turned in project drafts starting in week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. You've already completed the document. Now, whether you use the template or you created your own document, the most important thing is that everything is together, all project drafts, all pieces and parts on one document. Okay, so that is what you want to make sure that you submit for Module 7's final project. As a reminder, video note submissions are absolutely not permitted for your final project. This is a great time to utilize your resources. Remember, if you for some reason don't have Microsoft Word or something compatible, you get that Office 365 for free. The discussion assignment, as I mentioned already, is not graded, and that final project is due by Sunday or before, as convenient for your schedule. What I wanted to do is kind of talk to you a little bit about taking a minute and reflecting back on your IDS 105 term, thinking about what has gone well, what we might need to work on, and how we can support you, but also how you can support your success as you navigate from class to class here on your academic journey. So I always like to ask students, like, do you know how to self-assess? Like, do you know how to take a minute and do a self-assessment and think about how the term is going, right? So when we do a self-assessment, we really have to take a moment, kind of stop and pause, ask ourselves some hard questions. We might not like the answers, so we always have to stay positive. We need to think about how we can communicate and connect for our success and the action that we need to take to make changes so that we can be successful in achieving our goals. So I always like to tell students, like, when we're thinking about taking a minute and pausing and reflecting about the term and how this term has gone in your IDS 105 class, or maybe you're taking other classes too, and you can apply this to like personal life, professional life, but for this session, we're just going to talk about it from an academic perspective. So I want you to think about, like, what is something you did really well this term? Like, what is something that you're like, I did that? It could be maybe you managed your time well, maybe you got your assignments in on time, maybe you did a really good job with writing and you were nervous about it, maybe you utilized resources. Like, what did you do well? What are you doing good at? Then think about, like, what is one or two things that maybe you could do better. Maybe you got your assignments in, but it was like by the wire and it stressed you out. So maybe you want to change that for next term. Or maybe you got your assignments in, you feel like you were managing your time really well, but your writing mechanics just really weren't where you wanted them to be, or you struggled on some of your writing assignments. Those are just examples, okay? Or also maybe you wanted to utilize resources and you were nervous and you didn't do it. So what can we change next term? What is, again, along the lines of like what you're doing well, like what is something that you were strong in this term, kind of like make sure that you think about, like, what have I done really well? What am I proud of? And then what are a couple of things that I could do better or areas to improve? And then when you have those things, I always like to like jot them down on a little piece of paper. When you have those things, you need to think about, like, what can I do? Like, is there a department I need to reach out to help me? Is there like, do I need to talk to my instructor about something? Is there a resource I could use? So like, what can you do? But then like, who can help you be successful in making sure that you're able to navigate your classes from week to week and term to term effectively? Okay, so that's kind of what you're going to do. So take a minute, maybe like 5 minutes. It doesn't take very long. and just kind of pause and think about your term. Like, what went well? Where'd you kind of struggle? What is something you want to change? What is something you want to keep that you did well that kept you on track or whatever? And then like who do you need to reach out to, or what do you need to do, and who do you need to connect with for your success? Okay. And then remember too, because sometimes we're like, oh, maybe I was on the struggle bus a lot more than I thought. Or I want to do better, but gosh, I have to like figure out a routine. Just remember to take a big old deep breath and believe in yourself and the power of positivity, because I'm telling you, every single person carries heavy things, right? And so even though we might carry it well, doesn't mean that it's not heavy. So you need to take a minute and just kind of like take a deep breath and be like, all right, this is what I did really awesome. I want to continue this. And like, this is what I got to fix. And here's who's going to help me do it, or the way I'm going to try to fix it. And just believe in yourself, because you are 100% worth this journey. And I also like to remind all of you students that you have to communicate for your success. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Every single SNHU department and faculty member have an email address that you can reach out to. I know that's always an easy option for students, because you can just like click and you can send an email to connect with somebody if you have a question on something or need to change something or want to work on something. Also, departments take appointments. You can also reach out to your faculty, see if that would be an option for you. Some faculty might even text message, check their My Instructor bio, see how they communicate. And then every SNHU department has a phone number that you can call if that is a way that you like to communicate best. The biggest thing is, if you want to utilize a resource or you have questions on something, you're not sure on something, communicate and connect for your success to make those changes so you can finish the term strong, but also do well in your upcoming terms, okay? I like to remind students that you have so much support here at the university. If there's any questions about assignments, like if you struggled on an assignment or you're missing an assignment, you have to talk to your instructor, okay? They are the ones that are grading it. They're the ones that can break down their feedback. They're the ones that can make a plan for you. If you have fallen off track or missed assignments, they can always say no. There is a late penalty, but I am telling you, some points are better than no points. So if you're missing assignments, if you've fallen behind, reach out to your instructor and be like, hey, life was lifing, or this happened. Is there any way I can get caught up? They'll work with you on a plan and let you know what you can and can't do, okay? Some points, again, are better than 0 points. I'm telling you, I have had a student that was failing the class, and life had happened. They had kind of fallen off the face of the earth for a couple of weeks. They reached out like, hey, this is what happened. Is there any way I can get caught up? Absolutely. This is kind of what I want you to turn in first, and then let's work on these other assignments. They ended up passing the class so awesomely. But if they wouldn't have reached out, if they wouldn't have taken a minute to advocate for themselves, it would have been very different, right? So take a minute, reach out to your instructor if you've fallen behind. Again, they will tell you what you can and can't make up. There is a late penalty, so know that, but some points are better than no points. You can also always reach out to advisors. You have so much support with the academic support team, from using the written feedback service to the tutors to the workshops they offer. You have an SNHU Connect, you have the clubs and organizations, but you also have the learning community for IDS 105. You also have those YouTube videos that are out there. You can go back and watch those webinars, watch those videos. If you need somebody to show you like where to click and how to find things, like you just have a lot of support at your fingertips. Do not forget it and make sure you utilize it. Plus, outside the classroom, y'all have different supports that keep you motivated and on track. So, rounding it out, as we work to finish this term strong, what are the action steps that you need to take for your success? Take a minute, reflect on your term. Do your best to finish it the strongest that you can. Think about what you're going to do about it. Today's the day. Don't wait. Let's get it done. You only got a couple weeks. Let's get caught up if you've fallen behind, or if we have some things we put in place or want to change, like how do we start making that happen, okay? That is the biggest thing we want you to know, is that we are so proud of you and you have already put in the work. Let's finish the term strong, okay? As a reminder, for this week in week 7, module 7, your discussion assignment is a non-graded discussion assignment. You do not have to participate in it. You can if you want, but no pieces or parts of your final project go there, okay? You do have to submit your actual final project. And I want to remind you that this assignment is all about connecting the dots. You are absolutely not creating a new document. Okay, you will continue using that same template that you have been working with all term to submit your project drafts. If you, for some reason, split those project drafts into separate documents, you want to put it all back into one document. If you created your own document, you want to make sure that all pieces and parts of every single draft and all of your answers and questions are all on one cohesive document. So when you submit a final project, your faculty member is able to grade project draft 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, right? Make sure they're all in one place is what I'm saying. You've already done the work. You're not starting over. What you want to do is reflect on what you've learned this term. Go and look at what your instructor said in their faculty feedback for your grades. If there were changes you might needed to make or details that were missing or examples you needed to add, make sure you're putting those pieces in there, okay? The other part is there is an exemplary category on this rubric for your final project. So maybe you nailed it and you had like 100% across the board on every single project draft assignment. There is an opportunity to earn a little bit more extra points on your final project. If you wanted to add some details, you do not have to, but I wanted to point that out because sometimes students miss that. If you have questions about it, reach out to your instructor, okay? If you're not sure about the feedback you got from your instructor or you don't understand it, reach out to your instructor. Again, you are not starting over. You are not creating anything new. You are just revising if needed, and you are making sure you have one cohesive document that you are turning in that has all the project drafts and your answers on one document. This final project is due by Sunday of week 7 or before as convenient for your schedule, okay? Really quick, I wanted to take a moment and just show you where everything is in Module 7, member course menu, learning modules, scroll down to Module 7. As always, review the information that's in the introduction and the overview and the resources. You'll notice as you scroll through the assignments, you'll see that discussion assignment. It is not graded. Do not post any pieces or parts of your final project there. It's just there as an opportunity for you to maybe ask questions if you have questions about the project or share any information that is relevant to the class or how you stayed motivated or how you put things together or resources you might have used. Okay, here is that heavy hitter, that project. Click on guidelines and rubric. As always, it pulls up an overview of the assignment. Remember, you either picked or created your own scenario back in week 2, and that is what you use to answer the questions for every single project draft in week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. So here again is all the questions that you've already answered. And as a reminder, if you need a refresher, go back to project scenarios. What you are submitting is that completed project template. Again, once this is all together, it's about 3 to 5 pages. It's not like, don't get hung up on that 3 to 5 page thing. But once you have it all put together, it's about that length, okay? Again, you're turning in one cohesive document. So if for some reason you split up those project drafts as you turned them in, it's time to put them all into one document. Or if you created your own document, make sure you have all pieces and parts and it's one cohesive document. Okay, here is that rubric. Here is what I was telling you. There's an exceeds expectations category. So this is what you want to look over, like how you'll be graded. Remember to upload it. It's due by Sunday or before as convenient for your schedule. If you have questions or you're stuck, it is a wonderful idea to connect with your instructor. If you just want another perspective on like your writing or making sure it all flows okay, then you want to work with the academic support written feedback services and then get it submitted to be graded, okay? As a reminder, you got this. You have worked really hard this term. Make sure that you continue to show up, get that assignment in. It's worth a significant chunk of your grade. You've already done the hard work. Now you're just cleaning it up and getting it in. Questions, you're stuck, reach out to your instructor, or you can always post it in the IDS 105 learning community. Y'all have an amazing week 7, and I'll see you in week 8. You got this.